at Tully's Good Times Restaurant on Erie Boulevard, 2943 Erie Boulevard East to be specific, here in Syracuse, New York. And it's the first time that I've gotten to be here at Tully's, first time that I've gotten to celebrate Christian Brothers Academy softball. And I'm here with Maddy Crysler as well as Gracie Battles and Peyton Woodcock. So first and foremost, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing very well. Can we give a round of applause to our softball team here at CBA? Show them some love. We have the postseason coming up here on Saturday morning, right? So Peyton, I'll start with you since you have the mic. How lucky you are. So bring me into this season, 2025. How would you describe the season so far?
Productive.
Productive?
Great.
Okay. You have your coaches sitting right off camera. I want you to tell me something good about your head coach, Mike Cusano, and something good about the assistant, Paul Giangemi.
I'll start with the assistant.
Let's start with the assistant, okay.
He's very kind-hearted and always knows how to make us feel better whenever we're down or having a bad day.
Okay.
And Mr. Cusano, I'd have to say Mr. Cusano is very level-headed. He knows how to cool the team down and keep us all in line.
Level-headed, knows how to keep you all in line. Okay. All right. Gracie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. So, Gracie, for you, you heard the word productive from your teammate. What would you say?
I would definitely have to agree. I think that we're doing a lot better this season than we have in years past.
Okay.
And I think we're on a great run.
So you think you're doing better than in years past?
Definitely.
What made this season so? What is it about this season that you feel like has made everything better?
I feel like this season we're really connected as a team, and there's a lot of great girls and with great values.
Okay, great girls and great values. Okay. Tell me something good about your coaching staff from your eyes. Your head coach, Coach C, and Coach Giangemi, which I got a little twist to the Coach Giangemi story from me personally, but I want to hear your story here.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with what Peyton said. Coach Cusano, he really always gets us in a good mindset. He's our psychology teacher, so it's great with that. And then Coach Giangemi, he's always just the life of the party, but he also puts down the law when it needs to happen.
Okay. Life of the party, but puts down the law.
Yeah.
You're convinced that Coach Giangemi has a unique job occupation, right?
I am, yes.
What do you think he does?
See, I really have no idea. He's hinted at a lot of different topics and subjects.
Okay. He's hinted at a lot of different topics. Okay.
Yeah.
He told me that you think all Italians are involved in a certain line of work.
So, yes, I do think that. And, he kind of hinted at that, was a little bit suspicious about it.
Okay. So you know that I'm Italian too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I will say this I'll say something without saying something. So we have extended family in New York City, and one of them's got a pizza shop. The other one has a cement business right by the Triborough Bridge.
Okay.
So I'll say it without saying it.
Good to know.
Okay, all right. Maddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. So Maddy, for you, how would you describe this run in 2025?
I would describe it as really good, especially in years past, but I feel like we each have a special connection this year where all of our personalities and talents are different and unique to us, which I think makes us such a strong team, because not two people on our team are the same, so we all bring something different and special.
So you all bring something unique and special to the team. I like that. What would you say you bring?
I honestly would say I bring probably a lot of laughs. I'm always talking about something not softball related and trying to keep the practices going by.
Okay. You're always talking about something non-softball related. If you had to choose a topic in the moment right now and we were all at practice, what's the topic? What's your go-to?
The topic would probably be something related to Founders Day today, because it was a big party, so honestly just opinions on how the day went.
Okay. I want to hear about Founders Day in a second, because as I spoke with your coaching staff about, we didn't have Founders Day. We didn't have this fun, exciting. We went to school. They made us do class all the time. So we're going to talk about Founders Day in a second. But Maddy, tell me something good about your coaches.
The assistant coach, Giangemi, he's always making us laugh, but he also will pick you up like if we're down or like in our heads, he's always there to like take us out of our head and like to get us back focused. And he always makes us like believe in ourselves. And Cassano, I would say he's very faithful. We never go a game without prayer, and I think that's a big part of who he is, and I think it helps us a lot in our games to keep our minds clear and open.
I like that. And you know, in the world that I live in the media, 99.9% there's no belief in God. There's no morals, there's no values, there's stealing of stories, there's constant plagiarism. So this whole like belief in God, I love that part. And I don't shy away from that. So I'm happy that my alma mater still talks about faith, and that you just mentioned as a young person in society that you care about the fact that your coach keeps you in the faith and keeps that as part of it. So I think that's a beautiful part of it. Thank you for sharing that. So Founders Day, what is it all about? And why didn't I can't even say to my principal, because the same principal has changed since I've been there, but there are some teachers that are still there. Buddy Wiklinski's still there. So I want to know why I didn't have Founders Day. Maddy, what's Founders Day all about?
Honestly, I think Founders Day is all kind of about community, but more about like the seniors, because it's like almost like a send-off. So it kind of pulls our whole year together, and like we get to spend one last day with our school where nobody has to worry about schoolwork, and it's to celebrate like our founder and all of the 5 LaSalle principles that make our school what it is. Okay, all right, Gracie, what activities are happening during Founders Day?
So during Founders Day, we have brothers bonding, and it's just like a whole bunch of games and fun activities. And then we also do a service project. So each, like 7th and 8th grade, and then 9th and 10th, and 11th and 12th, do different service project. And so we tied blankets for the Emmaus Ministry.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So you like roped it back to serving others?
Yes.
Okay, I like that. See, I'm thinking like Founders Day, and I'm hearing all this fun. I'm thinking like you guys had like a water balloon fight or something like that. So are there any like special things that happen throughout the day, like food-wise? Is there anything like a give back to students?
So they do give us it's like a cookout, I guess.
A cookout, okay.
Yeah, cookout.
Is the cookout brought to you by Tully's?
I wish. I wish it was.
Okay. All right, Peyton. How would you describe Founders Day?
I would describe Founders Day as really just a celebration of LaSallian education. We learn a lot about, St. John Baptist de LaSalle and the founding of the first school in France, and just the 5 core principles of LaSallian education, which I think are very important. And I think it's just a celebration of the community at CBA, which we all come from so many different backgrounds and cultures. I think it's just a great day to really recognize that.
Yeah, I love that. So honestly, this conversation is right up my alley, because you're talking about things bigger than yourself, the community, and faith. And I feel like that's a huge part of what we should have in society. So, Peyton, what's your favorite thing about going to CBA?
I think coming from, I live out in Chenango, Canastota area, and coming from such a remote, country living kind of style, and I'm also an only child, I've loved coming to CBA and meeting so many different kinds of people from so many different areas in Syracuse. I think that it's opened up so many doors for me and my future, and I've really appreciated that. Okay, I love that. So having more culture. Gracie, what about you? Favorite thing about CBA?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the same thing. I also come from a really small town. I live in Mexico, and it's just such an amazing school with amazing opportunities. And I think that everyone is just so open and welcoming. It's just really something special.
All right, welcoming, open. Maddy, what about you?
I would definitely have to say that my favorite part of CBA is the people, because I feel like there's a very strong bond between not only just the students but our teachers, and I feel like the bond that you find at CBA isn't one that you would be able to find anywhere else.
So the bond, the community, the culture. I love it. So this is a very important question before we get to rapid fire. You all ordered Tully's tenders tonight, okay? So sauce or no sauce is the question, and I'll start with you, Maddy.
I only use ketchup on any tenders or anything that I ever eat in my life.
Okay, ketchup on everything. Okay, do you put ketchup on pasta?
No, I do not.
Bless your heart. Thank you for that boundary. We were going to have to escort you off the show if that was the case. So we have Just plain tenders and ketchup. All right, Gracie, what about you?
Same thing, just plain tenders, ketchup.
Plain tenders, ketchup?
Yep.
No honey mustard?
No.
No barbecue?
No.
Dave, what are we going to do? So, all right, Peyton, I know you're going to give me a different answer.
I do. I have to be different. I got the buffalo tenders, and I will be eating them with the blue cheese.
Buffalo and blue,
Right?
okay.
But if I were to get the regular tenders, I would eat them with the honey mustard any day.
And with honey mustard.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because that's like the go-to is the honey mustard. I usually get honey mustard and barbecue,
Okay.
and you just share. You do a little bit of both.
Yeah, I like to sample, but I'm not really a ketchup person, I have to say.
Okay, so the anchors of the show right now have the different flavors, and then we have like the ketchup in the center of the show. Okay, fair enough. Well, it's time for the hot seat before we get to hear from some of your teammates. So you get to start, Peyton. Any question in the world you can ask me. What do you got?
I have to ask, of any person, dead or alive, who would you most like to have dinner with?
Any person, dead or alive, who would I most like to have dinner with? Can I give you two answers?
Yes.
Okay, so I was talking about my grandparents today, and my G-mama, my mom's mom, I'd bring her out all over the place. We would go on our dates, as she would call them. So if I could eat with her again, I would do that in a heartbeat. She lived to be almost 101, and still the best person that I've met in society. I honestly feel like when she got up to heaven, she went over to Jesus, and she looked at her wrist like there was a watch on it, and she went, time, to see if she got up there faster than he did. But good, like a lot of comedy, great heart, taught me everything I needed to know about life in very few words. So her, and also Robin Williams, because I do a lot of comedy in my life, and I wanted to spend a day with him to see if I could make him laugh. So I'd say Robin. All right, Peyton, my question back to you. If you had a dish here at Tully's named after you, what would it be? What would be on the dish? And it cannot be tenders.
That's a tough question.
What would it be?
I don't know. I mean, it might already be on the menu, but I have to say the tender sandwich, but with mac and cheese on it in the middle and hot sauce.
Tender sandwich with mac and cheese and hot sauce.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
We don't have that on the menu, do we, Dave? No, okay.
Gotta get it on there.
Someday.
Yeah.
Okay. I do like the mac and cheese with it. All right, see what do you got for me?
Okay, so if you had to be like one animal, it could be like any animal, what would you be and why?
It's a very simple answer. Well, there's two. But I would be a dog because I love my dog, Lily, and she's my kid. So she's the best. But I would also be a lion because of Daniel and the Lion's Den in the Bible. So I have a connection to the lions because of that. And I don't have any tattoos, but if I ever got one, there's one I would put on my left bicep that would have the lion and Daniel. I saw it online. The lion's looking up at God and Daniel's looking up at God, and their hairs crossing each other. So like the mane of the lion is on Daniel's forehead. I just thought that was a really cool picture. So if I did one, Mom and Dad, that would be my tattoo.
Wow.
My question back to you, Gracie. Gracie, if you were president of the United States right now, who would be your vice president, and what's the first thing you would do?
Wow, that's a tough question.
I think about it a lot, so I want to know what you think.
I can't say I've ever thought about this question, but I think that my vice president would probably be my brother, Max Rose.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't know what we would do first.
First thing you and Max would want to do. You could do anything.
I think we would create a national TV show and just or maybe we'd create a national podcast.
A national podcast.
Yeah, and it could be a once a week thing and broadcast it on the radio.
So we can hear the thoughts of the president and the vice president?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Not a bad idea. My thought would be that I would make sure that they didn't take every central New York highway and do construction at the same time.
That's great, yeah.
That'd probably be a good idea.
Yeah, that's really
because in order to get here, I had to get really inventive to get here today.
Yeah.
So I think I said to Kathy Hochul, too, I'll run against her if she wants me to, if that would be cool. think maybe I should.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to tell her again. I told her live before, but I'll do it again. All right, Maddie, what do you got for me?
My question is where's the your favorite place that you've traveled to doing this podcast?
Favorite place I've traveled to doing the podcast. So I'm going to say the college football playoff this year, being in all 4 rounds and being at the national championship and getting to do that was cool. But broadcasting live from Rome, Italy, when I was there, my dad was insane. And broadcasting from the rocks in the water in the Isle of Capri, also in Italy, that was wild. That was the day before we left. I was sitting on the rocks, and there was clear water. It looked like a screensaver. And I was broadcasting on the rocks, just talking about how a little kid from Syracuse, blue collar, that didn't have any money and had to earn everything growing up, was told he wasn't going to do anything. And here we are sitting in Italy and doing my show, which was pretty crazy. All right, Maddie, my question back to you. If you took over my show for the day, and it's Wake Up Call with Maddie, who are your 3 guests and why? Maddy Crysler, you take over. Who are the 3 guests?
This is a really hard question. My 3 guests would probably be, I would probably pick my top 3 artists, honestly, because it's hard to get into concerts, so I feel if I did it that way, I could be able to meet them one-on-one and actually know them more than you do just through their music.
So what 3 artists?
I would probably pick Noah Kahan, Olivia Rodrigo, and Megan Maroney.
Okay. Megan Maroney is coming up a lot in a lot of these questions. A lot of people like Megan Maroney. So with that being said, for Maddie, Gracie, and Peyton, here in this first edition of our CBA softball special, on-site, on location at Tully's on Erie Boulevard, I thank you all. And please give your teammates and give this team a round of applause as they get ready for the season, postseason, coming up here in a couple days. We'll be back with your teammates after this. Thank you all. Appreciate you.